At first glance, Rudy from Rudy's Adventure and Design seemed unstoppable. A fearless fabricator carving his own path in the off-road world. But behind the roaring engines and desert trails was a story few saw coming. Fans went from watching his explosive rise to wondering why his uploads suddenly stopped. What really happened to Rudy? Was it burnout, betrayal, or something deeper that tore his momentum apart? Today we uncover the story that turned one man's dream project into a quiet struggle, and the shocking truth behind why Rudy's adventure nearly came to an end. Before Rudy's Adventure and Design even existed, Rudy was already a familiar face to millions. As part of Matt's off-road recovery, he was the quiet powerhouse, the guy who never backed down from a challenge, no matter how stuck or wrecked a vehicle was. His calm confidence and skill quickly earned him a fan base of his own. Viewers saw a future star in the making. But as the channel grew, so did Rudy's ambitions. He wasn't just fixing vehicles. He was dreaming bigger. He wanted to design, to build, to innovate. That dream became the foundation of Rudy's Adventure and Design, a channel he launched to explore his creativity beyond recoveries. At first it worked. His builds were impressive, his energy contagious, and fans followed him loyally. It looked like everything he touched would turn to gold. But soon whispers began to spread, subtle signs that something behind the scenes wasn't as smooth as it seemed. His uploads slowed, his tone shifted, and fans started asking, did Rudy leave on good terms? Nobody really knew. What was clear, though, was that this new adventure came with a cost. The moment he stepped out on his own, the pressure hit hard, and that was only the beginning. When Rudy left Matt's off-road recovery, fans assumed it was just a creative decision. But online, speculation exploded. Some said it was a friendly split. Others hinted at quiet tension between the crew. Nothing was ever confirmed, but the move itself spoke volumes. Rudy poured everything into Rudy's Adventure and Design, building not just a YouTube channel, but a full-fledged brand, complete with custom merch, off-road builds, and a vision to rival the big names. Yet running a business from scratch wasn't as simple as fans imagined. He was now on his own. Every cost, every project, every mistake was his to handle. It wasn't long before that independence became a double-edged sword. His uploads began slowing. Behind the camera, Rudy was juggling real-world chaos, finding a stable workspace, funding expensive builds, and keeping content rolling all at once. He wasn't just building vehicles anymore, he was fighting to keep the dream alive. Still, Rudy rarely complained. He smiled through the strain, masking the reality that things weren't going as planned. The same fans who once saw endless potential were now wondering why his uploads had become so rare. And soon, those questions would lead to something that shocked everyone, a sudden silence that no one saw coming. Success online can hide a lot of chaos behind the scenes, and Rudy was living proof of that. As his channel grew, he faced a challenge few creators survive: instability. Within 4 years, Rudy moved his shop 4 different times. Each move meant starting over, rebuilding equipment, setups, and routines from scratch. In his now infamous video, Why I Stopped Posting Videos to YouTube, Rudy admitted the truth. The endless relocations were draining him. Every move meant lost time, lost money, and lost momentum. Fans saw it as a hiccup, but for Rudy, it was more like watching his dreams slowly unravel. Imagine trying to build a brand while constantly packing boxes, redoing wiring, resetting tools, and trying to stay motivated. It wasn't just physically exhausting, it was emotionally crushing. The off-road world isn't forgiving. Miss a few uploads and the algorithm buries you. Fall behind and your audience moves on. Rudy was battling burnout and the brutal side of YouTube all at once. But even then, he didn't quit. He stayed hopeful, promising viewers he'd be back stronger than ever. Still, behind the upbeat tone, you could sense something breaking. Each new shop was supposed to be a fresh start. Instead, it became another reminder that success can crumble quietly, not through one big failure, but through 1,000 small frustrations that pile up over time. And right when fans thought he'd finally bounced back, the silence hit harder than ever. One day, Rudy just vanished. Uploads stopped. Social posts went quiet. No updates, no explanations. Fans flooded comment sections with questions, trying to piece together what had gone wrong. Some thought he'd taken a break. Others feared the channel was done for good. Then, out of nowhere, Rudy reappeared with a simple explanation. I needed time. But that phrase said more than most realized. Time to heal? Time to rethink? Or time to figure out if the dream was even worth continuing? Behind the calm delivery was a creator who'd faced more setbacks than his audience could imagine. The financial strain, the constant moves, and the pressure to stay relevant were eating away at his motivation. When you build your identity around creating, silence becomes your loudest confession, and Rudy's silence spoke volumes. He wasn't chasing views anymore. He was trying to find balance, something rare in the YouTube machine. But every week offline risked losing momentum, sponsors, and the audience he'd worked years to build. When Rudy finally uploaded again, fans flooded the comments with support. They hadn't forgotten him, but it was clear things had changed. The energy was different. The spark that once drove every project now flickered under the weight of exhaustion. Still, nobody knew if this was a comeback, and then came the twist. Rudy wasn't done. Not yet. If there's one thing Rudy's known for, it's resilience. When most would have walked away, he chose to fight. He rebuilt his workshop once again, upgraded his tools, and returned to what he loved most, creating. But this time, it wasn't about chasing viral success. It was about passion. You could see it in the details. Carefully welded parts, custom builds with soul, and a calmer, more grounded energy on camera. He wasn't shouting for attention. He was rebuilding himself. Fans noticed. Comments started shifting from curiosity to respect. "He's still here. Glad to see you back, man. Keep going, Rudy." And slowly, views began to rise again. The uploads came at a slower pace, but each one hit deeper, authentic, raw, and real. Still, the comeback wasn't smooth. Algorithms don't wait for recovery arcs, and neither do bills. Rudy was still battling the pressure of making content while running a real-world business, but even with the odds stacked against him, he refused to disappear again. The new Rudy wasn't chasing perfection, he was chasing purpose. His projects became metaphors, broken machines being rebuilt, rough starts leading to cleaner finishes. In every weld, in every build, you could sense the deeper message, redemption through creation. And just when things seemed to stabilize, another challenge emerged. When you've once been part of something massive like Matt's off-road recovery, expectations never really fade. Fans constantly compared Rudy's solo channel to his old one. The style, the energy, the views. It was an invisible shadow he could never fully escape. Every upload was judged not just on its content, but against the legacy he'd left behind, and that kind of pressure can eat at anyone. While Rudy continued producing, the numbers didn't always match the effort. Some fans wondered if he'd ever hit that same level of success again, but others saw something deeper, a creator evolving, not competing. Still, the comparisons lingered. Every time Rudy tried something new, the comments came. "This isn't the same without Matt," or "Bring back the old team." Yet Rudy stayed quiet, focusing on his craft. His silence was strength. He knew that real passion isn't measured by analytics, it's measured by persistence. And through every setback, every quiet upload, every uncertain rebuild, he proved that staying true to your purpose matters more than chasing numbers. The tragic part, most viewers never see the toll of that fight. The stress, the late nights, the financial risk, the constant self-doubt. They just see the final product. And that's what makes Rudy's story hit so hard. Because it's not just about a YouTuber struggling to stay relevant. It's about a man learning to rebuild his dream from the ashes of burnout. But how long could he keep going? Rudy's journey is more than a story about YouTube. It's a reminder of what happens when passion meets pressure. From the excitement of new beginnings to the crushing weight of setbacks, he's lived through every side of the creator's dream. He may not post as often and the views may not always match the past, but Rudy's story isn't over. It's evolving. Quietly, steadily, he's proving that real creativity doesn't die when numbers drop, it adapts. And maybe that's the real lesson behind Rudy's Adventure and Design. Even when the noise fades, the people who truly love what they do always find a way back.